Howdy, folks. This is Dr. Matthew Grisha, Director of the Grimm Family Center for Organic Production and Research at Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo, and you are listening to Organic Chat. Today, we're heading back for our time at the 2025 Organic Growers Summit to hear conversations with organic industry leaders about where the sector is headed. First, you'll hear from John McKeon, the former Director of Organic Integrity and Compliance at Taylor Farms and Earthbound Farms. He shares insight on what companies look for in graduating students and some of the challenges facing the organic industry. Then we'll hear from Scott Park of Park Farming Organics, an organic farm north of Sacramento. Scott talks about his operation, the importance of creativity in organic agriculture, and the growing demand for organic products. Finally, we hear a conversation with Matt Coniglio, the Vice President of Sales at Organic Growers Summit, about the next generation of agriculturalists and the future of automation in organic. Thank you so much for joining us.
My name is John McKeon. I work at Taylor Farms. I'm the Director of Organic Integrity and Compliance, and so I manage the organic certification program for Taylor Farms. That's farming and processing facilities and then distribution, things like that. I also deal with food safety research and regenerative certification. So right now is a very interesting time where we're seeing technology integrate itself into agriculture. And it's an interesting place where physical labor is being replaced by mechanization, but it's also scaling up, like the level of education and the level of commitment to stay in agriculture to a certain extent. And so someone who knows both the operational sensibilities of how to run a farm and then be thinking about how technology will make your life easier, and then going forward with institutions like Cal Poly and finding those engineers to bring them forward into that space is that space is I think where farming is going to go. And then you sub that out into different categories. I spend a lot of time doing food safety or organic, which is not necessarily harvest operations or farming operations, but is still much a part of the system that has to be done for regulatory reasons, for your own claims and certifications, or for your customers because they want it. And so that skill set is a subset of that is also using technology and getting better and faster in what we do, because in that setting, you have to go out onto the farm and look for risk or verify organic compliance, and more you can do that with technology. And you guys are the ones that are going to think about how technology makes that even better. The flip side of that is that where does that labor go that's traditionally been in agriculture? And so I think that's something that we have to figure out going forward, is to make sure that, one, technology is cool, and I think I'm focusing on that, but I don't think it's the only thing that draws the future students into it. A lot of it is just the love of the land and operational and farming, probably much like yourself. But then adding in those things that are like, oh, I saw my grandfather do it this way, but man, I'm going to try this because it's changing, and you're probably going to try and change with the farm so you can keep doing it, right? There's actual regulatory issues about the standard that should be paid attention to, like access to pasture for livestock, and kind of making sure the intention behind the rule is there and documentable to a certain extent. Through the past 40 years of organic certification and the organic market developed, we didn't really do a great job of telling our story as to why cover crops improve soil health and show that. Like we kind of could see it, and inherently we didn't show it. And so now there's a lot of requests to kind of show the numbers a little bit. And so I think that's where organic needs to step up, and they're going to step up with showing. And so also biology and testing is getting better. We're understanding soil microbiology and the intersection between root and soil microorganisms much better, right? So we're getting better at understanding, which means we're get better in how we use inputs and how we control pests. I think all of that is a very data integrated future for farming, it's pretty exciting. So there's another component, which is like organic seed use. There's a whole clause about commercial availability in organic. And commercial availability was written into the law because there wasn't enough organic material at the time the law went into effect in 2002, right? So, and even still to this day, as a seed as an example, if Taylor Farms used 100% organic seed for spinach, when we couldn't ever find it because there's not enough pounds of organic seed for us to use. But also, we would probably buy all of that seed, and there wouldn't be organic seed for anybody else. And so that's an indication of how underdeveloped that market is. But if you go all the way to the consumer and what a consumer thinks organic is, most of them think that that seed is organic or should be organic. We understand the difference in a conventional seed production system and the untreated seed clause because the industry is not there. And it's a question of whether or not the industry will get there because we now have a commercial availability clause in a regulation that kind of drives industry priorities. And so it's kind of an integrity thing. Did you intend for everything in the system to be organic? Or do you continue to have to make clauses as the market develops? And then at this point, like 20 years into the regulations, people are expecting that maybe organic seed would be more prevalent in the marketplace, and it's not. So like dealing with that now on the consumer side of that, it's like there are certain hurdles yet to be leaped in the organic industry, and there's more and more technology and other ways of showing environmental claims that are also kind of crowding this space. Regenerative is part of that conversation for sure. Like regenerative organic falls nicely together, but like carbon sequestration on a conventional synthetic pesticide and herbicide model and sequestering carbon in the soil does not meet the same kind of intent or organic movement oriented thought around how we are a climate smart solution or how we're a solution for better ecology and farming and our partners along those edges, however you want to put that.
My name's Scott Park of Park Farming Organics. We farm about 50 miles north of Sacramento. I've been organic for over 30 years. I've been using soil health practices for over 40. We currently have 28 fields spread over 12 miles that are regenerative organic certified, growing 15 to 20 different crops with the idea of the crop rotation, keeping the soil healthy and diversification both financially and for the health of the soil. So we're growing everything that's not a tree. We grow a lot of cereals, we grow legumes, we grow vegetables, we grow a lot of processing tomatoes, we do fresh market squash, watermelons, cantaloupe, and that's the nuts and bolts of it currently. So I've been farming since 1974. I'm first generation, started with only a college loan to my name of debt, so everything's been from scratch and a long haul. Definitely, we need some creativity. We need innovation. We were just in a meeting where everything they were talking about, on especially how it finished on the organic, was yield. From my perspective, being in the organic industry and what we're all trying to accomplish sort of for our own profit, but also for the world, is how do you have a farm system where you're not mining people and you're not mining the environment, but you are making a financial gain, okay? Like I call it ethical capitalism. So what I'm getting at is when you're going to a yield framework of this is why I'm studying this is for more yield. Yield encourages inputs and inputs. Okay, instead of encouraging, let's develop a system that the net profit is getting the attention, not yield. So your farm system is more looking long range. What are our inputs, or if they are, they're all positive. They're all making this natural resource better. The answers in here today was yield, and I blew it. I should ask the question, why aren't we looking at all the way they're looking at solving the problems in organic in this meeting we just came out of was the same way of thinking. We need to break out of this paradigm of solving problems with yield instead of looking, okay, look at 5 years of our farm practices. We're using less water because of biomass and building it up of our crop rotation. We're using less nitrogen. We are spending less money on worries and safety problems because of our practices. We are having less erosion. Our inputs are dropping. We have a better working environment. What is the dollar value on that? And all the dollar value, instead of looking at what our yield was, what our income came this year, how much money we made, what do we do over 5 years of good farm practices? Yeah, we just made $20 an acre on less water. We just made $80 an acre on less nitrogen. We created a working system. The energy savings. We don't have to do all the heavy tillage. How much are we saving on energy and labor because our ground now is a sponge and we don't have to try and create a sponge ground? And looking at the whole picture of good farm practices, what it translates into the net profit for the farmer, and then even giving dollar value, what does it translate into the good for the community and the good for the environment? We have a totally different paradigm of looking at what ag is. So if we don't increase demand and if we don't put energy into consumers understanding some of what I just hit upon, that you buy an organic product, it's not just because you didn't use a chemical. You know, it's all those advantages, all the little stuff that adds up. If we can get consumers to understand that, they will be willing to pay more. Now, the next problem is, on your question is, but that's no growth. That's only the middle class up that's able to pay for the cost of organic. So it's really important that if you want to move the needle is nutrient density, the needle is quality food, just what I'm referencing, that the government, and I don't want the government in this, but listen to what I have to say on it. We're spending $3.9 trillion. Okay, of 4.3 trillion on health every year by the feds. Okay, with that 3.9 trillion on chronic diseases, why is, instead of pharmaceuticals making on the money on all the sales of pills, why isn't the government making this food available, of quality food, to low-income people so their health is getting done naturally? This is a natural then demand-supply consumption. Okay, now supply is going down. Now more growers and farmers change because they're making money on selling this quality food, and you have a natural domino effect that you're getting everything done that you want to get done, and it's still a zero-sum game. That tax money, instead of it going to pills, is going to food, but it's increasing and encouraging good farm practices, which will make everything else fall the way it should.
My name is Matt Coniglio. I'm with the Organic Grower Summit. I'm the Vice President of Sales. So we put on an event called the Organic Grower Summit. It's in Monterey, California. The design of it is to connect growers with companies that are involved in the organic industry. So we've invited a lot of growers, a lot of them from the Salinas Valley, but we've had growers come from Minnesota, Illinois, Texas, with the goal of getting educated about organic practices, new technologies, things of that nature. And then we have a nice little trade show for some of the companies that would like to talk to them about some of the products they have that would help their operation too. Well, I think, in many cases, like most industries, you're trying to find that next generation, right? A lot of the college students, in fact, we have some Cal Poly students here. You're one of them, I believe. But we're fortunate because Taylor Farms, which is one of the larger farming operations out here, graciously donated some money to help you guys come. And I think the reason behind that is they understand that you guys are potentially the future of the industry. They want you to experience this. They want you to network. They want you to get involved. And hopefully at some point maybe they're a future employer for one of your friends. But at the end of the day, I think from their perspective, they definitely want to have a next generation. They want to educate. They want to mentor. And so hopefully you found some of your time here to be effective, listening in some of the sessions, meeting some of the exhibiting companies and some of the growers. Well, the things we've heard this week are, organic has been a very popular product line in the last growing year by year. I think I saw a slide yesterday that said still growing at a 5% clip year over year. But the pressures of cost of inputs and cost of doing business nowadays is a challenge for the growing side. So they're trying to figure out ways to be more efficient, to find better technologies. Manpower is a big challenge for this industry. Automation, we're going to have a session today on that, but a lot of labor that is still being done, hand labor in fields in the organic space. So that's putting pressure on these operations to be financially viable, to continue to grow great products and healthy products. So hopefully, we can automate our ways in some ways out of this, and hopefully some of the down pressures of expensive inputs and things of that nature will hopefully subside here in a little bit. We're happy that you guys are here from a student standpoint, and we hope that you've had a good experience here with us, and hopefully you'll come back and tell your classmates that you guys had a great experience. We are actually hoping to evolve the student side of this a little bit moving into next year, and hopefully look for a couple other local universities and colleges to participate, because we kind of take the same approach that I was saying earlier. Young people involved in an industry like this, you have to get your first step and your first opportunity to see what's going on, to network, and so we want to do more of that.
Thanks for listening to Organic Chat. This podcast is a product of the Grimm Family Center for Organic Production and Research at Cal Poly and is edited by Mary Masciamento. Special thanks to Henry Kremers, Cal Poly Organic Farm employee and agricultural communications student, for filming and recording these interviews.